I, 32M, have been with my wife, Jenny, 35F, for 15 years, married for 9. We have 2 kids, Lori, 8F, and Lucas, 6M. I thought we had a great relationship until last week when I discovered she cheated on me 7 years ago. Jenny and I met in college. I was a shy computer science major, and she was this vibrant art student who somehow noticed me. We started dating in our sophomore year and have been together ever since. After graduation, we both landed jobs in the city and moved in together. Those early years were magical. We were young, in love, and excited about our future. We got married after dating for 6 years. It was a small ceremony with just close family and friends. Jenny looked stunning in her white dress, and I remember thinking I was the luckiest guy in the world. We honeymooned in Italy, spending 2 weeks exploring Rome, Florence, and the Amalfi Coast. It was perfect. A couple of years into our marriage, we decided to start a family. Lori came along first, followed by Lucas 2 years later. Becoming parents was challenging but rewarding. We were sleep-deprived and stressed, but seeing our kids grow and learn made it all worthwhile. Throughout our relationship, I always prided myself on being a good husband. I was faithful, supportive of Jenny's career as a graphic designer, and tried to be an involved dad. Sure, we had our ups and downs like any couple, but I thought we were solid. That's why discovering Jenny's infidelity has completely shattered my world. It all started last week when I borrowed her phone to look up a recipe. A text notification popped up from a number I didn't recognize. Out of curiosity, I opened it. The message said, "Remember our special night." I felt sick to my stomach. I confronted Jenny immediately. At first, she denied everything, saying it must be a wrong number, but I pressed her and she finally broke down crying. She admitted to a one-night stand 7 years ago with a coworker named Tom. According to Jenny, it happened during a rough patch in our relationship. Lori was about a year old, and I had just started a new, demanding job at a tech startup. I was working long hours, often coming home after Lori was already asleep. Jenny felt neglected and overwhelmed as a new mom. Tom had been flirting with her at work for months. He was the office charmer, always ready with a compliment or a joke. Jenny said she enjoyed the attention but never intended for it to go further. One night after a team happy hour, she had too much to drink. Tom offered to drive her home, but instead took her to his place. One thing led to another, and they slept together. Jenny swears it only happened once and she regretted it immediately. She said she felt so guilty she could barely look at me for weeks afterward. She considered telling me but was terrified of losing me and breaking up our family. I was devastated. I couldn't believe the woman I trusted completely for 15 years could betray me like this. Even worse, she lied to my face about it for 7 years. Every day she looked me in the eye knowing she had this terrible secret. The past week has been hell. I can barely look at Jenny without feeling sick. I've been sleeping in the guest room and avoiding her as much as possible. She's been crying constantly and begging for forgiveness. She says she'll do anything to save our marriage. I keep replaying everything in my head, wondering if there were signs I missed. Was I really that oblivious? I remember around that time, Jenny seemed distant and irritable. I chalked it up to the stress of being a new mom. Now I wonder if it was guilt eating away at her. I'm torturing myself imagining her with Tom. Did she compare us? Was he better than me? I've always been a bit insecure about my body, and Tom was one of those naturally athletic guys. The thought of them together makes me physically ill. I'm also worried about STDs, even though it was years ago. Jenny swears they used protection, but I don't know if I can believe anything she says anymore. I'm planning to get tested just to be safe. Part of me wants to forgive her for the sake of our kids. Lori and Lucas adore their mom. They're too young to understand what's happening, but they've noticed the tension between us. Yesterday, Lori asked me why Mommy was crying so much. It broke my heart. We've built a life. Together, and despite everything, I still love Jenny. We have so many good memories. Our first apartment together, backpacking through Europe after college, the day we brought Lori home from the hospital. Can I really throw all that away because of one mistake? But another part of me feels like I can never trust her again. The foundation of our relationship feels shattered. How can I ever believe anything she tells me? Will I always be wondering if she's hiding something else? I haven't told anyone else about this yet. I'm too embarrassed and don't want to drag our families into it. Jenny's parents have always treated me like a son. The thought of telling them what their daughter did makes me cringe, and my own parents, they adore Jenny. This would break their hearts too. I feel so alone dealing with this. My best friend Mark lives across the country now. We talk regularly, but it's not the same as having someone here to grab a beer with and vent. I could really use some outside perspective. Should I try to forgive her and work on our marriage? Or is infidelity a deal breaker no matter what? How do I even begin to trust her again? What about our kids? How do we protect them from all this? I'm completely lost and don't know how to move forward. One minute I'm filled with rage and want to pack my bags and leave. The next, I see Jenny's tear-stained face and remember all the good times we've had. And I waver. We built a life together. Our house is filled with memories, photos from our vacations, the height chart on the wall where we mark the kids' growth, the old recliner where I rock Lucas to sleep. Can I really walk away from all of that? But then I think about the lying. 7 years of deception. I think about all the times we made love, all the intimate moments we shared, while she was carrying this secret. It makes me feel like our entire relationship was a lie. I'm trying to focus on work, but it's nearly impossible. My mind keeps wandering and I've made some careless mistakes. My boss has noticed and asked if everything was okay at home. I mumbled something about Lori being sick. I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm drowning and I can't see a way out. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Thanks for reading this long post. Update 1. It's been about a month since D-Day and I wanted to give an update. First, thank you to everyone who commented on my original post. Your advice and support really helped me during the darkest days. After a lot of soul-searching, I decided to give Jenny a chance to rebuild our relationship. It hasn't been easy, but we're taking it day by day. We've had many long, painful conversations about the affair and our marriage. Jenny gave me a full timeline of events leading up to the one-night stand. Apparently, Tom had been pursuing her for months, constantly flirting and complimenting her. She enjoyed the attention, but claims she never intended for it to go further. The night it happened, she had too much to drink at a work event. Tom offered to drive her home but took her to his place instead. Jenny says she felt guilty immediately after and ended things with Tom. She described feeling physically ill with guilt for weeks afterward. I asked for all the details about the physical encounter, as painful as it was to hear. Jenny was reluctant at first, but eventually told me everything. It was agonizing, but I felt I needed to know. Some details I wish I hadn't asked for, like learning that Tom had a tattoo on his chest that Jenny found attractive. It's like little daggers to my heart. I also insisted that Jenny tell her parents and mine about the affair. She was terrified, but agreed it was the right thing to do. We invited both sets of parents over for dinner and broke the news. Jenny's mom burst into tears. Her dad just sat there in stunned silence. My parents were equally shocked. Mom kept asking, why, over and over. Dad just put his arm around me and said they'd support whatever decision I made. Both sets of parents were disappointed in Jenny, but supportive of us working things out. Jenny's dad took me aside later and apologized, saying he had failed in raising his daughter to have stronger values. I assured him it wasn't his fault. It was humiliating, but I'm glad it's out in the open now. No more secrets. We've implemented some new boundaries in our relationship. Jenny has given me full access to her phone, email, and social media accounts. At first, I felt guilty about invading her privacy, but she insists she wants to be an open book. Jenny's also agreed to find a new job to avoid any chance of running into Tom again. She's already submitted her resignation and is actively job hunting. It'll be a financial strain for a while, but we both agree it's necessary. I'm still struggling with intrusive thoughts and triggers. Sometimes I'll see Jenny laughing or smiling and suddenly picture her with Tom. It's like a knife to the gut every time. Last week we were watching a movie that had an affair subplot. I had to leave the room. Jenny has been patient and comforting when I have these moments. We haven't been intimate yet. I'm not ready for that. The thought of being vulnerable with her in that way still feels impossible. Jenny says she understands and will wait until I feel comfortable. She's been sleeping in the guest room to give me space. As for the kids, we're trying to keep things as normal as possible for them. They've noticed some tension between us, but we've just said Mommy and Daddy are working through some grown-up issues. Lori's been extra clingy lately, wanting to sleep in our bed. Lucas has been acting out at preschool. I'm not sure when or if we'll ever tell them the full truth. I still have moments of doubt where I wonder if I'm making the right choice. The pain and anger are still very raw. Just yesterday, I found myself Googling divorce lawyers during my lunch break. But then I came home to Jenny and the kids having a dance party in the living room, all laughing and silly, and I remembered why I'm trying so hard to make this work. Jenny seems genuinely remorseful and committed to making amends. She's been going above and beyond, leaving little love notes in my lunch, scheduling weekly date nights, really listening when I talk about my feelings. Sometimes it feels like too little too late, but I'm trying to appreciate the effort. I know we have a long road ahead of us. Trust is easy to break, but hard to repair. I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to trust Jenny 100% again, but I'm trying to keep an open mind and heart as we navigate this difficult journey together. We're taking it one day at a time. Some days are better than others. On good days, I can almost forget what happened and just enjoy being with my family. On bad days, the pain and anger threaten to consume me, but we're both committed to putting in the work and seeing if we can salvage what we've built together. Update 2. It's been about 6 months since D-Day, and I wanted to give another update. Things have been complicated. On the surface, our reconciliation seemed to be going well. Jenny found a new job at a small design firm, stuck to our new boundaries, and was doing everything right to regain my trust. We even started being intimate again, though it was difficult for me at first, but something still felt off. I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story that Jenny wasn't telling me. Call it intuition or paranoia, but I decided to do some digging. I reached out to some of Jenny's old co-workers under the guise of planning a surprise party for her. Most of them were friendly and helpful, sharing funny stories about Jenny at work, but one of them, Lisa, seemed hesitant to talk to me. After some prodding, Lisa finally admitted that Jenny's affair with Tom wasn't just a one-time thing. It had actually gone on for several months. Lisa said she had caught them kissing in the break room once and confronted Jenny about it. Jenny had begged her to keep it secret. I was devastated all over again. I confronted Jenny with this new information and she broke down crying. She admitted that she had lied about the extent of the affair. It wasn't just one drunken mistake. She and Tom had been secretly meeting up for lunch dates and hookups for about 3 months. Jenny begged for forgiveness, saying she was too ashamed to admit the full truth before. She swore up and down that she had told me everything now, and there were no more secrets. But how could I possibly believe her? I felt like such a fool. Here I was, thinking we were making progress, when it was all built on more lies. The worst part is that Jenny had multiple chances to come clean over the past 6 months and chose not to. I asked Jenny to move out temporarily while I process this new betrayal. She's staying with her sister for now. The kids are confused and upset about Mommy being gone. I've just told them she's helping Aunt Jenny with some things for a while. Lori's been having nightmares and Lucas has started wetting the bed again. I feel terrible that our issues are affecting them so much. I'm doing my best to maintain their routines and give them extra love and attention, but it's exhausting being a single parent. I'm back to square one emotionally. All the pain and anger I felt initially has come rushing back, maybe even worse than before. I don't know if I can get past this second deception. Part of me wants to just end things for good, but another part still loves Jenny and wants to believe we can work through this. Plus, I worry about how a divorce would affect Lori and Lucas. They're so young and they adore their mom. I'm seeing a therapist to help sort through my feelings. For now, I'm taking some time and space to figure out what I really want. Jenny is respecting my wishes and giving me space, though she texts daily to check in on the kids. I've also started opening up to a few close friends about what's been going on. Their support has been invaluable. My buddy Mark even flew in for a weekend to hang out and take my mind off things. I honestly don't know what the future holds for us at this point. I'm trying to focus on healing myself and being there for our children. Only time will tell if Jenny and I can overcome this, or if it's time to close this chapter of our lives. Update 3. It's been a year since my last update, and a lot has changed. After much soul-searching and counseling, I decided to file for divorce from Jenny. The final straw came when I discovered yet another lie. Remember Tom, the coworker Jenny had the affair with? Well, it turns out he didn't just randomly transfer departments after their fling. Jenny had actually complained to HR about him making her uncomfortable at work to get him moved. She essentially threw him under the bus to cover her own tracks. When I confronted Jenny about this, she tried to justify it by saying she was just trying to protect our marriage. But all I could see was how easily she could lie and manipulate situations to her advantage. I realized I could never fully trust her again. The divorce process has been difficult, especially explaining it to Lori and Lucas. We've told them that Mommy and Daddy still love them very much, but we can't live together anymore. They're in therapy to help process everything. Lori's been having a hard time at school, and Lucas has become very clingy with me. Co-parenting with Jenny has its challenges, but we're trying to keep things civil for the kids' sake. We have joint custody, with the kids spending weekdays with me and weekends with Jenny. It's not ideal, but we're making it work. I've moved into a small apartment closer to my office. It felt strange at first, living on my own after so many years, but I'm slowly adjusting and even enjoying the independence. I've taken up cooking as a hobby and joined a local running group. I've started dating again recently. Nothing serious yet, but it feels good to put myself out there. My first date was incredibly awkward. I felt like I had forgotten how to talk to women. But it's getting easier. Jenny is still single as far as I know. Financially, the divorce has been a strain. We had to sell our house and split the assets. I'm paying child support, which is tough on my budget, but I'm managing and focusing on providing a stable home for Lori and Lucas when they're with me. Looking back, I'm glad I gave reconciliation a real try. At least now I know I did everything I could to save our marriage. But in the end, the repeated betrayals were just too much to overcome. I still have moments of sadness and anger over everything that happened. Sometimes I'll see a happy couple and feel a pang of what could have been. Or I'll look at old family photos and wonder how we got here. But overall, I'm in a much better place emotionally. I'm focusing on being the best dad I can be and rebuilding my life on my own terms. It's not the future I imagined, but I'm hopeful about what lies ahead.